Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. We're here. We're live from space. Um, well, my fiber connection went down. The fiber itself is up. Their box went totally numbskillery, and it was only giving an address to my Windows laptop and the router I had been using that started this whole mess. And then we spent a couple hours on the phone with various levels of support trying to get it to issue addresses, and it refused. So they did a truck roll for days from now. I want to say over a week, but that can't be accurate. No calendar on that. Oh, here we go. We can pretend to schedule one. Nope, can't do that because we're live. We can open up this calendar app here. Oh, there we go. And this calendar applet, little mini calendar on the side of my email. It's not even on the right day. It has the 11th. There you go. Seriously? A week from today. So we will take things into our own hands on that. And then the cell phone connections that we have as backup, I don't know what's going on with them. They live in that other router, or at least one of them lives inside the router, and the other one is a still in the gateway box from the cell phone company. I think that's the one I'm going to cancel, or whichever one is more expensive of the two. I do like having the backup. But in the Tesla family news, I guess, our Starlink got the email for the free. Yeah, it's free mini dish, and then then you can keep it in standby mode for $5, and it's actually pretty decent. You can do like 4 streams of 720p YouTube down. I don't know what it's like on the upside when it's in the off mode. And as a loyalty situation, they gave you 50% off if you turn it on. And when you turn it on, you're guaranteed a little bit of a in motion activity. And what they say? It was originally 50 gigs. They upped it to 100 gigs last week. But I don't know. I think it would be prudent to see how it behaves in the off mode. But even at the 50% price, it's still way cheaper than the other automakers are with their what do they call it? The like you got the OnStar Wi-Fi, you've got the Ford whatever link, and so having the having their connection, not only is it slower, it's you can't take it with you. I mean, it'll go where you go, but you can't take it into like you get to a hotel, you get to an apartment, condo, whatever, middle of a ranch, the Grand Canyon, and it just it only works out like at the truck. It doesn't work where you're going, and so this one they allow 60 days of ocean travel a year. Not that either of us leaves the terra firma, and I got a free month because the guy who bought my old one off of me used my QR code, and he got a free month, and that was kind of cool too. Not complaining. Some of it was loyalty stuff, and some of it was because they changed the program. So now it's called Starlink Residential Max, and you get they'd say 400 megabits plus down, and best effort up. and then they have a residential light now, which was no, the residential light is now just residential. It does not come with the Starlink Mini in standby mode. I don't know if everybody gets the discounted activation. I imagine it's part of the. I imagine it's part of the kit of what they charge for that thing compared to the terrestrials. I need to go put the pipe adapter up on ours, but it's raining right now, and I kind of stayed up through the night. I got not two. I got like 90 minutes of sleep because what I did was with that old router flaking out, I went ahead and switched over to a virtual router. And do you think the Starlight number am I in? The Starlink Mini would be a good choice for my van. I will let you know in 2 weeks when it arrives. And then I'm going to try it out in standby mode first. And then I'm hopefully going to be able to move around all the other connections to make room in the budget for actually just turning on the service. And I was thinking that it would be fun to use while we're on the road. Just strap it to either the big sky window or strap it to one of the Falcon doors windows that go up above the kids, and it looks like it has everything we need except the suction cup mount to take it mobile in the car. And so I'll let you know. I'm thinking that will be a good appeasement for Moto. She likes to do her little educational games on the tablet, but a lot of them demand an internet connection. And what I'll do is she's got a VPN tunnel back to here, so that all of our content protection and all of that stuff continue. And so we'll see. Well, if I like standby, then all that will still work. But if I want it to go faster, then we can definitely use that, because she doesn't use 100 gigs a month. I mean, no matter how much driving we do, unless we fire up the HV Nomads project immediately, there's no way that any of us could use that amount of data on the road. And having two of them makes making a tunnel very easy, because you've got an anchor to the building, and then the other one is with you. That'll be fun to see. We'll see how it goes. And then for the fiber, since it's going to take a week, and I've got the kit already here, or not here, but on the way here. It says it's missing some parts, and they're on the way as well tomorrow. I don't know. What I'm going to try to do is just leave their box out of it and jack it straight into my switch, and then use this virtual. Oh, I got a little too sidetracky. I've got the router I have now is a virtual appliance, and so we'll see how, if the bypass can jack straight into that, or if I got to make some more maneuvers. But so with this one, I hope to do. I've got sometimes when the fans are up, you can hear them. I turned them down. Hopefully, Brian can't hear them when I'm noise gated out, or I'm not noise gated out while I'm speaking, because it was on a 7. I put it down to a 5 because it was not that hot in here right now. But the goal is, somebody pointed out to me that these particular virtual firewall router appliances, if you have 2 of them, then you can never go offline if configured correctly. And that's going to be the fun part, is trying to configure it correctly. It all started with it not being able to pull an address from the fiber, only to turn out that even the original router can't pull an address from the fiber. And so without their box in the middle, everybody says it's a better experience. We will see. and mine's a little older, so hopefully I don't have to do any shenanery. But I think I might be able to get away with not doing shenanery because. Hello, Chop Frog. How are you? You want to do the show, or you just wanted to make sure where I was? Are you sleepy? All right. Don't get all fussy until you fall asleep now, okay? You smell like syrup. Did you go swimming in syrup? Are you sticky? No, Daddy's not a fan of sticky. Okay, your hands aren't sticky. I appreciate that. Oh, you're ready for a nap, huh? Mm. Your hair smells nice. So Heather says you got a co-host moderator. Where's the mouse? I feel it bumping the edge of the screen. There we go. Highlander. Oh, Scott says hi. Sticky is the default position of that age. Yes. She has started to. What's that? Oh, don't be shy now. She has started just standing because it's more convenient now. She was kind of hanging on to stuff before, but this morning she wanted to hold two toys, and she has two hands, and so she held the first toy, and then it was time to hold the second toy. So she stood up, grabbed the second toy, and then beat them together. And oh yeah, what was it? The trick we saw her pull a couple times. She'd have like a cookie or a snack in her mouth, or a toy that fit in her mouth that she wanted to transport. But while she was crawling around, it wasn't so easy to do it with it in your hands. And so she put it in her mouth and she could triple her speed. Child's a trip. Yes. She's staring at my popcorn bucket. And pulling on my video cable. I need the video in the glasses so I can see, baby. Yeah. Yeah. So with these virtual routers, if I do it right, first one goes down, second one takes over, and you say, okay, that's great, but if you've plugged in your internet to the routers, or you've plugged in your network to them, and then what happens when the first one goes down? Does the other one just have the other ISPs? That's one way to do it, but if I can get this to work correctly, which I could not do for Starlink, you can plug them into your managed switch and give them a VLAN, and then in that VLAN, you can do it as a trunk with tagging, or you can do it as an access port, and then you pick it up on your virtual router appliance firewall, and then since they're both on the trunk, they can both pick it up, and then you're only down for the milliseconds while they decide that they are no longer in contact with each other, which is pretty cool. Timothy says, it's official, you're a broadcaster. Want to say hi, Timothy? Too many syllables? You're one syllables? Okay. Welcome aboard, eCare. And greetings from the Southwest. And Arizona, right? And gave my little niece a unicorn fluffy thing in her and the dog keep fighting over it in a friendly way. She takes it away from the dog, sets it down, and the dog takes it back. Co-host moderator. Did not hear fans this time. Okay, so it looks like my limit is either 6 or 7 when they start rip roaring. But I do have that cubicle wall that we got from IKEA. Other server. Oh, we reset. Thanks, Starlink. When I finish plugging in this other server, and I'm not needing to go mess with wires behind the server rack anymore. I'll see what that does. Yeah, good. Anyway, so this morning, while I was waiting for one of the devices to reboot, no. While I was on the phone with the fiber ISP, I got most of the cables plugged in to the new server, and then I had 4 or 5 of the Molexes, PC Juniors, whatever you want to call the 12-volt 4-pin connector with the beveled edge, left undone because this one wanted to go to sleep last night. And then about midnight or so, while she was, yes, I hear you. She pulled the headphone away. It was exclaiming in my ear. Yes, baby. How can I help you? What's up? Oh yeah. All right, now we're onto the earphones. Anyway, I was missing about 4 or 5 connections for the 2 front backplanes to have enough power to start up. And then last night, I did not, early this morning, whatever you want to call it, before my little bit of sleep. Yeah, Dada. The HBA I showed you guys a couple weeks ago. It couldn't get it to plug in because the server above is too close. So I got to kind of push it forward and pull the other one back, and that should give me access to the PCI slots, and then put in the surplus 100 gigabit NIC and the surplus HBA, so that each of the 3 backplanes has a data connection because they all have power now. And then the other one is basically the same chassis, but instead of taking small drives like little SATA SSDs, that's what that one takes, and then the big one takes large spinning hard drives. And I'm hoping that the flash will be at rest more often, and that none of it ever breaks, because right now with the AI supply crunch, RAM, hard drives, flash drives, everything but just like the old systems that I've got are they went from like trash prices like $50 to $100 for a chassis, and then another $25 for dual enterprise processors, and so forth. They all went from like, it was, I want to say it was like $300 for the whole stack, like all the machines, the router switches, and then now I was looking. What was I looking for? I was looking for, well, the HBA for one. But while I was looking for the HBA, the prices were just astronomical. The RAM I got for like $70 is over $1,000, and the HBAs they are kind of holding steady, thankfully, for now. But the little SSDs I was using, they have become unobtainium. I can't replace them if one of them goes down. And the hard drives I was getting for about $100 each on the old server, the one that you couldn't hear on the machine. That one, the drives were going for about $100 each for the size I wanted. And now, wait, I take that back. They're about $100 each for the size I upgraded them to. But the ones I was using for the backup drives, they are now like almost $200, and they're much smaller than because so I was using 18s is what I just upgraded everything to before I got rid of that server, and then yes. Oh, and then the backup drives were well under $100 because nobody wanted that size anymore. And now, what are you doing? Yes, how can I help you? Are you trying to Shanghai me with the cord? What do you know about that song? That's not a kid-appropriate song. Oh, don't touch the face. Oh, you got me by the chin. Anyway, so those what I was calling the backup drives, they were under $100, and now they are $200. So hopefully none of them goes bad before the supply chain catches up. And yeah, it's been an adventure with computing. Let's finish looking at these. So with the dual router, if one of them goes down, the other one picks up, and we'll see how it goes. I've only ever had one before, so it won't be a huge loss to still only have one connection. It's not like we're running a nuclear battleship or something where we need to be online all the time. In fact, they go dark too, don't they? Let's see. Sound great on YouTube. Thank you, Scott. And Brian just joined the show. 2-year-old niece the same way. I'm going back to the comments because my glasses were being assaulted. Got a heart emoji. Brian says, can't join the show this week, but I was happy to hang out for a bit. Good to have you in the room. Appreciate it. I'm getting bopped. And so I've got at least one item on the notebook. And we talked about Starlink Mini, saw the co-hosts. The co-hosts for Robert, if he wants. Yep. And let me click on the screen for screensavers again. I need to turn off the screensaver on the tablet. I don't know how it got turned on in the first place. Got to find out what it's called, and then uninstall it, or find the setting to turn it off if it was a Samsung put it there thing. I know it's Samsung, but I don't know if it's an app or if it's a setting. In the chat room the other night, called Slimy and she and her family are out eating, and the mic check. Sweet. Yeah, so let's get down to current. Sorry. She's trying to fall. Yeah, you sleepy? You just close your eyes and relax. I'll be right here. Oh, Andrews is here. Excellent. Let's the fluffy unicorn. Timothy showed up. She's a broadcaster. Yep. Andrew says good evening from Stockholm, Sweden. And Timothy gives the thumbs up. Scott says, if you can hear, she's saying, Daddy, I need to get paid for this gig. Coming to Chattanooga in March. That is the plan. And hey, that'd be a trip that'd be worth having some internet on the road for. And Ryan says, that's why I can't do Starlink. That and well, fiber is cheaper. Yeah. So right now the Starlink is jacked straight into the hypervisor that's holding the fake router right now, and it's working great. But it's designed for corporate, so it was it turned on and it grabbed its internet connection, but you couldn't do anything with it, not until it was authorized. So I had to make a bunch of firewall rules, and that was fun. I got Wi-Fi back on in the house just as everyone was waking up. Hey, my phone's not working. Hey, the TV's not on. This, that, and the other. And added in the last couple of rules for exfil, and then that's when I had my 90-minute crash out, which was much needed. Good to know. Brian, thank you for the input on the Starlink, brother. And yes, Mr. Green is going to Chattanooga because I'm going to drag him and the clan down there. Yes. Scottish clan like we're kilts. Yeah, that's what I figured. Alrighty, back to work. Thanks for coming by. See you in a couple hours. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we can catch Brian after this. Scott says it's back in the apartment. Laptop, take it apart. Laptop fix it. He has to say laptop doesn't work anymore. Okay, so I'll say at least my equipment is functioning, except for the stuff that is on lease or whatever. So they have to give me a new one. But like I said, I'm going to try and bypass it so that by the time they finally roll a truck, I can just put everything back the way it was. And they say, "Oh, it doesn't work," and then they switch it, and then I switch it back. Oh wow, she got me good here. Oh, Wolverine scratches right here. Gonna try switching over to the X account. All right. Hope to see you in the room. And then screams the father. I'm telling you, she wants a raise. She wants ice cream sooner than later. Oh, she loves ice cream. The other day, Moto thought that she could. I think she was playing a board game or reading a comic book. Sorry, a graphic novel. And I don't know what happened, but she got distracted long enough that the cruiser here was able to locate the ice cream, find the spoon, decide she didn't want to use the spoon, and just take it to the head. And all the ice cream and ice cream soup was gone. And then there was much crying. She ate my ice cream. Oh, she ate my ice cream. It's gonna come back. But that's some only child stuff right there. Thinking you can just leave your snacks around and that they'll be there whenever you get back to them. Because I'm the eldest of the survivors, and my snacks were, I was eating them or I was not eating them, but they were then set up such that everybody had their own favorite snacks so that they wouldn't touch mine. Telling you, one of the great joys of my life is the little kids, nieces, nephews, and the kittens. This is a blast. Sometimes they know all the right buttons to push, and that feels annoying at the time, but I look fondly upon that as well. But you do have to give them props that knowing which buttons to push and then relentlessly slamming them takes skill. It takes skill, or at least perception and skill, I think. Okay, so let's pull up the notebook and see what I put in there. Hopefully 2 items, not just one. What is on this page here? That doesn't even have a title. There we go, 18 January. That one is an image. I think we'll do that one second. Let's go here to copy link. And then we'll get back on the right screen. I do love that this new mouse has the haptic when I bumped at the edge of the screens. So that way I know why the mouse looks like it is where it is. All right, so we're going to paste this over this and go. All right, so we're looking at an X post for what? Excuse me. Oh, this will be a fun discussion. Let's go ahead and share screen. Hope the same browser. I think they are because they're touching each other when I put the glasses on. And I hadn't rebooted the computer yet, so that tells me a thing or two. All right, oh, there it is. I clicked it and I don't see it. Right, that's my router. That's the host for the router. That's the old router that let me down. Those are searches. A bunch of searches. I need to find an X logo. Yeah, that's the one we're looking at. I don't know why it's like 8 scrolls down. How did you know? Yes, we are going to talk about the Canadian situation. Let's go to this layout, and um, this one, yes, is on the same vein, but it's coming from Dry Tesla Canada, so it's focused on Tesla. But we were looking at EVs, and I don't mind if you guys buy plug-in hybrids, but I do mind that the manufacturers sell plug-in hybrids. I'm a bit I'm a bit sophisticated like that. Let's see. So after it was revealed this morning that Canada was eliminating the 100% tariff on Chinese-made EVs, Tesla has removed the Order Now button for the Model 3. It's gone. The reason I would suspect they would do something like that is they had done the Model 3s from the US with the tariffs, and they probably already saw that people weren't buying them with the crazy markup, and then they had the Chinese tariffs, or I guess it started with the Chinese tariffs. So they stopped getting in cars from Giga Shanghai for that, and then they kind of pretty much shifted to a Model Y only distribution because what they ended up doing after the U.S. followed China in getting Canadian tariffs sanctioned, enacted, they decided they would use the Berlin Model Ys. So they had all the German cars coming in, and it's seeming like they would want to kind of either clear the channel or wait for the Chinese transport to arrive, and then they can list the Model 3s without them being just scary to look at the price. Because literally, you could get a Model Y for cheaper than a Model 3. So you had to really be in for, this is the right size car, and I'm going to go for it. Or I want a Model Y performance or Model 3 performance, and so I'm already paying more for the performance, and I only drive performance sedans. I don't buy SUVs. Obviously, that's not me talking, because what do I drive? I drive a 7-seat electric SUV, right? So um, I think it's going to adjust their customer base, and they might see a little bump from that. They might. I say they might because they're still holding against us a bunch of stuff our politicians have said, and well, he directly said a bunch of stuff to offend the Canadians as well. So at that point, it's going to be a matter of, are they able to look past one of the managing members and see all the people who work there and see that the product is solid and deal with that? Or is the Chinese competition going to see kind of a bump up? Let's finish the rest of this tweet here. While they had done this last year, it was recently added back. And that further leads me to believe that it's a matter of managing the inbound shipment versus the current inventory. Because you've already paid the tariff to bring them in, you're not going to sell those ones for less. In theory. Poke the screen here before it goes to screensaver again. There we go. The only way now to get to the configurators with the actual URL, even the order link in the header takes you to existing inventory. It's a good thing they don't have that many different configurations. Although right now they have a few changing configurations. We talked about the dark headliner is back, and we talked about the wheels, the wheel style, or at least the paint on the wheel, the coloring of the wheel has changed. So getting an in-stock unit could change the style of what you receive. Let's see. Hopefully this is a sign of a cheaper Model 3 coming soon. I'm thinking, yes, that, and also that we might start to see the Model 3 standard to further reduce the price. Let's take a look at the screenshots they grabbed for us here. So the view inventory, order now for the Model Y, and then the order link under the Model 3 doesn't take you to an order, it takes you to the inventory, is what they were telling us. So, and since it's on a tweet, I'll assume that Darren is telling us because the last we talked about it, he's the only one who uses the social page. Info on the tariffs is here. We will click through to that. There. And then none of your business X says 49,000 Chinese camera positioning is limited, please. Oh, it didn't like me scratching my eye. It saw just my hand. And it's like, what's going on here? There's something macro in front of us. 49,000 Chinese EVs will receive a tariff reduction to 15%, and all beyond that, 49,000 will receive the 100% tariff. So it's a little bit of a break. And I can see Tesla filling up as many transports as they can to dominate that 49,000, just like we saw with the various Canadian purchase incentives for tax relief to cashback to just the various ones. Tesla dominated that, and I expect that they are going to make another run for that. Again, great cars. So almost 50,000 cars will be exempt from the doubling. And we saw what happened in Norway when you didn't charge double in tax. EV sold like super crazy, and it was awesome. In previous years, I believe the number was 40,000. So I highly doubt the extra 9K is making a difference for anyone. I think that's a bit of a leap to say that it's not making a difference for anyone when you've got the U.S. tariff is completely changing things in the market there. It may not be as much for in the grand scheme of things, but it's 9,000 extra cars that are not jacked up prices. Today's trade deal indicates only EVs under 35,000 are eligible. And did I say Model 3 standard? I said Model 3 standard, didn't I? Common misconception, but no. Oh, Darren says he's wrong. I just want to clarify a few things about this news. There seems to be a lot of misinformation going around. Jay says, great. All right, so let's click into this. Just want to clarify a few things about this news, as there seems to be a lot of misinformation going around. Official government communications indicate that 49,000 vehicles can be imported in year 1, rising to 70,000 vehicles by year 5. Ooh. They are replacing us. Wow. I wonder what that does to any of their supplier relationships. Those things don't move quickly. But for us, that just makes the cars with Canadian content cost more to our customers, because that's how these things work. Lee Moon, hello, Kacey and Friends, good to see you. Lee is going to tell us about service experience in a little bit after we get done looking at what the Canadians are doing with their tariff situation. So 70,000 vehicles by year 5. 49,000. So an extra 9, as the guy was saying, right here in year 1. Plus, like I said, with the reduced ability to purchase cars from the States because, well, the tit for tat tariff situation. So we pulled some mess on them, and they said, oh, you want to play? We can play. we're not, we're nice by default. We're not pushovers. And so they showed us. The agreement also states that by year 5, 50% of imported vehicles will have an import price below 35 grand. Because that's what the other guy was talking about. So that 35 grand doesn't even take effect until year 5. Year 5. But that is what I was saying though about the Model 3 standard. It can do that. Based on what's been released so far, this appears to be a phased-in agreement, meaning that in years 1 and 2, the share of sub $35,000 vehicles will likely be significantly lower, gradually increasing to year 5's 50%. Wow. Whoever would have thought that Canada would be closer to China than to the US? Never in my lifetime. Shoot, even before my lifetime. Who went to World War II with us? Canada and Mexico did. Let's see. Are you ready? I'll let you know. And did you want to come on, or did you want to just do it in the chat, or do you want to do it in the X space? Whatever's comfortable for you. I can send you a link to the to come on screen if that's what you prefer. And then Highlander's asking if Lee can make it to the Chattanooga. And let's see. Even under these terms, or under these limits, Tesla would have room to import a meaningful number of Model 3s, at least 24,500 of them, and potentially far more in the early years. And I'm wondering, would they put one of the gigafactories in Canada, and would it be just a multi-purpose gigafactory? Like, hey, we're going to make bots on level 1, or on the upper level anyway, and then we're going to do, whatever the car of the month is on the main floor, and then we'll do drive units, batteries, and components in the middle floors. I'm not saying that they have any plans or whispers or any sort of news about a Canadian gigafactory. I'm just wondering if that'd be something they'd consider. It also could light a fire under bringing back the Mexico gigafactory, which I don't think was really, based on our talks with Brian and others, I don't think they were that serious about the Mexico gigafactory. Like, it'll get done, but it wasn't going to be done before the election. Although, at this point, though, with the constantly shifting politics and how long it actually takes to build stuff, I don't know if they would want to, in response, they wouldn't want to start a Canadian gigafactory. But as a hedge, I could see them doing it. Just getting ready for the future, because who knows what happens next. But looking at the semi-factory, it's about to come online. And that one took a lot longer than we expected. Especially given how quickly Tesla does their other factories. Just blam, 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 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. That one took a good couple extra months. Even under these limits, Tesla's got room for 24.5. And got the press release from Mr. Carney. I don't know what his title is. The Honorable Virginia's Excellency. Press release from Global Affairs Canada. I'll look at them. I'm not going to sit there and read them unless they are well done press releases. Usually they're just dense. It's written for the journalists, the press, to write stories about, not really to talk about. According to the press release, 50% share of the 35K is anticipated. Anticipated is a vague word, so I don't think there will be a stipulation that that the share of $35,000 vehicles will be at least 50%. I can see that happening. Like, the politicians want it, but that's not what they're going to get. That makes sense. Canada auto industry is, I wouldn't say that. Not just because it's a family-friendly show, but massive L for them. Oh, you know what? I think they're saying the same thing that we're seeing in Europe, where if you're afraid of them and you lock them out and then you let them in, then there they are, always and forever. I can join the feed if that works. Not sure if the Chattanooga meet have a smooth transition over to X. Islander reposted to the stream. Thank you. And we awesomely have a rocket scientist and submarine guy. Chattanooga is the great spot right by the river, family friendly. And so what I'm going to do here, since I am on X, I'm going to get a link to this room, copy, and then I'm going to change screens. Give me a Model Y L straight into the bloodstream. Yeah, that's something I suspect is going to happen. Is that since the Model Y L is made in China, and Canada is still referred to as America's hat sometimes, they have a culture very much more like ours. They would appreciate the larger Model Y. So I imagine that will be a good portion of the allocation whenever they do let the Model Y L out of Canada. Even though these limits, cheaper Model 3s can come into Canada again. North American auto manufacturers have little time to get their costs sorted. And if there's an all-wheel drive sedan coming that's reasonably safe and trimmed for $35,000 Canadian, I don't even think it's going to be that hard for them. They already make a bunch of cars that are under that price, very well appointed. It's literally just a matter of changing the silkscreen text on the buttons, or for the glass cockpits, just putting a skin out that's got English and French on it instead of Mandarin. So, I mean, they have to do the crash tests and all that stuff, yes, but as far as the interior is done, it's ready to go. Who decides who gets to import the 49,000, 70,000? Like, if Tesla just imports 49,000 Model 3s on January 1st, it's game over for the rest of the year? Or does every manufacturer get a percent? I was under the impression it was first come, first serve. So we might see three transports full of Model 3s and Ys just show up and boom, tariff this. If the CCP decides which vehicles are allowed in, they could easily, yeah, they could, but Canada decides it's Canada. Now, CCP could decide who gets out. That's a whole other story. It's probably beneficial for them to keep Elon on their side, though. He never crosses them, so I don't know. I don't know that they have any animosity. The one time he did say something slightly askant against them. It wasn't even against them, and they swung at him hard, and he never did that again. Unlike the rest of the Western world, he'll speak first, think second, all the time. It's expected that within 3 years, this agreement will drive considerable new Chinese joint venture investment in Canada, with trusted partners to protect and create new auto manufacturing careers for Canadian workers and ensure a robust build out of Canada's EV supply chain. So if that's coming from the press release, it sounds like they're gunning for Mexico, because Mexico and China were having a nice little partnership before the election, and well, sounds like Canada wants that. I would just love to get my hands on a BYD Seagull. Sounds like China may control what models and brands are allowed to enter the Canadian market. Oh, I was getting this off the screen so I could send Lee an invite. Let's see, what do we have coming up here? Let's share the article. Then that gives me X, and then that gives me a chance to go to my DMs. Probably got a pin in. Nope, I don't. Okay. Islander, Futurata, Slimy, copy. I need the moon. Not Rob Greenlee, Lee Moon. Rob Greenlee would be fun if we were going to talk about Xbox, though. I've never messaged Lee Moon on Twitter. I guess not. What's this button do? Oh, is this the button I needed? Yeah, that's the button I needed. Well, that's a bad UI design. Lee Moon. Not my Lee Moon. This one looks like him. Lee Moon Tesla. Oh, use your Gmail. Okay, let me get into my email here. And email. Email search is terrible. There we are. There's one with you. I thought it was going to be a first name situation, but the first name's in the middle. Click here. And yep, that's your Gmail. Perfect. And so we're going to send a message. It's like right at the edge of the tint. Let me just move this closer to the glasses. There we go. There. And this one is Studio 18 Jan. And send. There we go. Okay, so while we let the internet do what it does and get the information over to Lee, let's continue talking about these Canadian Model 3s and such. And of course, the Canadian Chinese cars, because that's going to be a thing, up to 70,000 units before the 100% tariff kicks back in again. You got Xpeng, you got BYD, you got Xiaoji, you got all the ones that our friend Brian just looked at there. I have a lot of people in the X chat room. I just can't access it. Really impressed with the number of people in the X chat room. Excellent. Thank you, guys. And Lisa's can't get X. What's up, Lee? Good to see you.
How you doing? Do I need my headphones on?
It helps to not have echo.
See if I can get.
So this is going to be exciting for Canadian EV buyers and Tesla stock owners. Brian did an awesome job with the Chinese, but I'm looking to see which of them I'm going to start putting up plants in America, and will they come to Ohio or the Carolinas? I suspect we'll see some more Carolinas, some more Alabama, Mississippi, Texas. I doubt we'll see any more Californias for a number of reasons. And it'll be interesting to watch because once they're allowed to sell the cars here, it's going to be cheaper to make them here, and they are manufacturing powerhouses. So I don't see them just giving up once they're in. And this is what Europe was saying. It's like, hey, you got to make a better car. You got to make it affordable, or you're gonna get your lunch taken away. And it begins. It begins. We've seen it start in Europe, and we've here it's coming to Canada, and we're just a couple of years behind the ball, and we're gonna get surprised, and not in a good way. We're gonna get surprised. Oh, the consumers will be good, but our manufacturing industry, they're gonna be Pikachu face. Let's call it that. It's like, oh, they got us. So hopefully, the workers are fine on this, and they get get everything lined up the way they need it, or like our friend Islander has shown that if you keep yourself current and you have a good ethic about your work, people will recognize your good work and they'll take you at whichever facility you need to be at. So don't say I've been at Chevrolet my whole life. That's all I can do. But I make the best bodies or powertrains or electronics, and to take it where you need it. Good morning, Lee, or good afternoon in our case.
It's good, but it looks like it's nighttime out here right now. It's overcast and been raining all day. But
you got the rain too?
We're not supposed to get snow. We originally were forecast to get it, but it's going to hover right at 32 degrees, I think, tonight.
Ooh, cold. Yeah, we had a mix one night, and thankfully it didn't stick around.
yeah. I was not. I didn't go out at all today, and I was thinking, I might not go out tomorrow either.
I don't blame you. I've got those snow tires on my car, but nobody else
wouldn't help me. I have driven in sleet once in Texas, and then in some mild icy in Panama City Beach when Atlanta got Snowmageddon. I was in Panama City Beach and it snowed there. And I had a house I rented on the beach and had a big pool, heated pool. And I told the management company, turn the heat on. I'm going swimming in the snow. And I did.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, having the snow tires is nice for me, but the problem is nobody else has snow tires on, and
that was my thing. And I've taken a performance driving course before many years ago, the Bob Bondurant, one of the short courses they had, and I can't drive. I lived in Florida and now in Georgia, so it's like I don't know. When it rains, that's about the extent of it. So it's a little bit white knuckle in Panama City Beach and in Dallas. When it just freaked sleet storm when I was leaving the hotel to go find where the training center was and turn it into the parking lot, the hotel parking garage. The car went straight and I wanted to go left for just a short time. They'll let me the heck of this.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut miles down a little bit and we're gonna park this. But you guys have some impressive rain down there. Oh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's been a very light rain all during the early hours of this morning, and it's just continuous. It's just a little pitter patter, but it's enough to, I'm not taking my car out there.
Exactly. I wonder. That's when we'll see a politician bring a snowball into their house of whatever their side of a legislature is, state, local, federal. It never ceases to not have the opportunity to happen, but they always forget that we replace the warming with change. It gets global weirding,
That's right.
And we like the stability. We don't need snow in Florida, not on a regular basis. Oh man! So you visited Abercorn. How did that go?
Yeah, and I bought all 3 Teslas there. And funny enough, I have never had to take the other 2 Teslas in for service because I traded them too fast. Right. So this is my first time. And the thing is, when I took it in, it was just regular maintenance. And then they told me about the glove box not opening it, and it would stick sometimes when I pushed the button. Well, there's an active service on it, service bulletin. Awesome. The magnets are too strong. And so they do something with the magnets, and it's easy. They take care of it. But when I go in for whenever I go visit over there or I go in for service, I take the title to my car with me. So I'm going to be in the showroom, and who knows, what kind of thing might happen. So, but yeah, I in the beginning of December is tire rotation change, and so I went in the app, and got that started, and I said, but I wanted the washer fluid, and you had told me on one of the Tesla Life shows about the tablets, and so I looked those up and went, that my car has got the automatic camera cleaning, the little mini wipe that it does it a lot, and so I was going through. I already used up the entire tank of washer fluid in 5-6 months of driving the car.
Oh my!
And that's not. I mean, it wasn't nasty weather or anything. So this thing's kind of going on. So I told them about that. That of course I knew they would do the washer fluid every visit, but I said I also want a jug of it so I can keep it, because the Model Y is aggressively cleaning the front camera, and they had already added, without me asking, about the precision camera cleaning, windshield cleaning up there.
Do they use the jugs of the bulk or the tablets there? I know that each location.
They have. First of all, they don't sell it to you, so you can't get washer fluid to throw in the back and take home, which is what I was looking for, just so I'd have it for a spare. What I ended up doing though was, because I thought I can't really. This thing looks empty. It's giving me the alert that it's low. Yes. And so I went back to one of the I tried about 3 auto shop, parts stores, looking for ethanol based, not methanol based. I think I got that right. Yeah. And couldn't find anything. And so I went back and got Fram, the blue stuff. And I went, I'll use this for one time through, and good. But at Tesla service, they said it's just, you can use whatever you want. It's because of the alcohol content. I said it's probably a California thing. That California prescribes, their regulations say no methanol, and so everybody else has to use it. So I went ahead and got it, and I'm sure they filled it up a little bit, because it took me a while to get around to doing it, because I kept wanting that ethanol free, or the ethanol based. So anyway, so that my point was for the tire rotation, scheduled maintenance, washer fluid, and they added on the front camera cleaning, which is great, and the glove box. So great. Oh, that's great. And to set up the time for my appointment, everything's great, because I love going there. I love, I'll talk somebody's ears off in the showroom, and I did. And so I get there, everything's great. It's just great. I'm real appreciative. It's like, I'll wait. I've always waited for my cars. It's like, if it's not an overnight thing. Right. And so I went and chatted up with everybody. And when the car was ready, I went up to service, talked to him for a little bit, and hopped in the car and came on home. And it's 60-ish miles each way. Right. So I've got 120 something miles on the car for that service visit. And so I got home, and I'm happy as a clam. And but I didn't pull the car in the garage. It was still daylight. And so I thought I'll go out and check it, because I've had, back in Florida, Nissan dealership did me dirty and damaged the car. So I always check my cars, after I get it. And I had kind of walked around the car a little bit, and of course looked inside to see where they took the dustbin thing off behind the rear view mirror to get to the camera.
Oh, the housing there,
yeah. And so I checked all that, everything perfectly clean, everything was fine. So I'm out in the driveway, and I'm walking around and go, the aero caps aren't on the back. And so they're not quite on. So I reached down and popped them in, on the back. And I walked around. Well, as I walked around the car, none of them are on right. None of them. And so, so I popped on the driver's side front. I popped one in, and I couldn't get it. Two of the blades, I could stick my little finger in the gap between the blade and the rim of the wheel. I could stick it all the way up in there on all of them, except for the one I found first and popped them right in. So I got some of them popped in, but the rest I couldn't do it. And I was afraid I was going to break it or mar up the alloy underneath it.
Both are bad.
So I wasn't sure. And I'm down here like, I'm 67. I got a bad, a damaged kidney on one side. I'm down on the ground, just trying to pop them in, and I got heart problems. So all mild, but I'm down here going, this isn't my job. This is their job. This is my first service visit. It's my first service visit. And I thought about it. I thought, now this is going to be petty if I call them up and say, my wheel covers aren't on, but I couldn't get them on. So I ended up calling them, and I had gotten upset a little bit, not much, but it's like, this is not a good impression. This is not a good first impression at all. And I'm a stickler about my service.
2 hour trip.
Yeah.
Because
I went through. I've been through some poor service at and I always I've never taken a car to tree under the tree mechanic. You always take it back to the dealer, the appropriate service. And
that's my favorite tire.
Anyway, so I called him up and told him what was going on. I said, "This sounds petty, but I just can't get the things in, and I'm afraid I'd break it, and then y'all blame me for it."
Right.
And so I want to come back and said, it'd be nice if y'all. And I knew they didn't have mobile service in the area, and they don't. So he said, yeah, and I didn't get an answer on that on this phone call, but I did. Consequently, we'll talk about that. And so I talked to the service advisor and said, yeah, well, I want to talk to a manager because just not to fuss, but to be firm about the quality of service that I've gotten, even though it's so stupid and petty, So, but they set me up and said, just come in whenever you want.
And post to somebody's window. Then that person will be holding you for it.
That's right.
But it's not petty. It does sound small in the grand scheme of things, but it's not unwarranted. And you just drove 4 hours, 2 hours there, 2 hours back.
Correct. So they set me up, and they're very gracious. I talked to them for a bit, and they said, just come in whenever you want, because it's going to take them 2 seconds to pop each one of them back in.
Yeah.
I felt like, but I really wanted to have my voice heard, because my thing was, you shouldn't have done it, of all people, to me, because I'm so particular about my cars. But you can't do that to anybody else. And it's the anybody else that I really wanted them to understand. This is my first visit, and it wasn't done right. And when the wheels caps aren't done right, how is the tire rotation done, or the lug nuts on it? Because I've had that happen at Honda. Didn't put all the lug nuts back on one time.
Whoa!
And so I've got some history, and I said I'm anxious when I take a car in for service because of things like that going on. Yeah. So I come rolling in at 10 o'clock in the morning at Savannah, and got out there and talked to them about what was going on, and so they came out, and it took them a little while to get somebody out to the car, and they came out, or some other person came out, and basically took the fist and beat the snot out of them to get them back in there. And that's how they said, no, those are tricky to get in, and I believe it. But I went out as soon as he came up. I'm usually a happy guy, but I wasn't unhappy. I was unhappy, but not angry, and so. So as soon as I saw him come up to my car, I went out and walked around, and he still missed one. Oh no! Wheel cap. So I went, pointed, and I had taken pictures the Friday when I got home, and it's the same cap, and I stuck my little finger right into the gap and went, this still isn't right. I said, I'm not mad at you, but I didn't get good service the first time around, and so I want to make sure this is done right. And so he fixed the thing, and I waited in the lobby and in the service area, and then I talked to the two service riders that were there, and said, I'm the guy that was in Friday, and here's what was going on. And they talked about what's going on. And what's going on is, as I mentioned in this week's live chat on the Tesla Live, it was chaos convergence for them, because we all have little, there's a little piece of chaos that happens here and here. Well, they're going to congeal at one point, and all of that chaos is going to come down to, and become a singularity. And I was the singularity day. And so they are very short-staffed. They said their master tech, he just had a baby. And I said, well, he should have been out. He should be out, and congratulate him on the new arrival. That's great news. I'm not, but they had flu, because Georgia, a lot of flu cases going on. So they've had people out for that. They were trying to hire people. The reason they don't have mobile tech, is they're using that guy to work in the shop. And they pull people from Jacksonville that have mobile service. Savannah's using their tech is to help them out. They're so far behind. So short-staffed. And from, I think, Beaufort, maybe they're
Beaufort had mobile
from
tech
South
too.
Carolina. They're pulling people from other Tesla service centers to help them out. So they're in dire. And they said that corporate Tesla has increased their quota. I think they're 15 vehicles a day they have to service in the same amount of time, and they're short, and people are sick and out. And both the manager and the assistant manager were both out.
Oh, wow.
And so I didn't get to talk to them until I got a call back, and I said, they're sick. Certainly don't send them to me as their first call back. Right. but just and make sure they're feeling well. So that, just let them know I have firm concerns, but I'm not ranting and raving about things. So, so and they told me some more of what was going on, and the person that worked on my car was a service assistant, a tech assistant.
Like the oil change guy at a regular store.
Yeah, and they said he's qualified to do the work. Is what they told me the day I went back, the return trip, and then what the actual assistant manager told me, talking to me a few days later. He said, they are supposed to be shadowed, not work by themselves. And he did all the work himself. And I did get the one time I got fussies when they told me that. I said, I don't want to service an assistant, associate, or whatever. Not working on my car. Never. I told him never. Write that. I said, write that in the notes. Put it in there. And so apparently I've got the master tech working on my car from now on. It's what I'm gathering. And I have the service credit. They gave me $250 credit for the thing, which is great. I didn't ask for it. And it was fine. You didn't have to do that. But they were talking about everything that went on. And I said, I don't have confidence the service was done properly. If that was a simple thing, just make sure the hubcaps are on, and I would have never known anything, and I would have been happy. So they went. We talked about it for a while, and I said, well, don't. I'm not upset, but I am leery. I told him I would rather have a bad sales experience. But service is the life and blood of the car I bought. And you have to treat the customer right. And you can't rush it. What was happening? They rushed. And so no one checked up, because the manager, the service manager or assistant manager, is supposed to have final hands on the car and check it and make sure that there are no fingerprints anywhere on it. They've learned their lesson about having all the, in the white interiors, especially. So he talked about how thorough that he said, but neither one of us were there. And apparently, they had the assistant, and he's got to learn. That's what he's got to have the experience, but follow the rules and have somebody shadowing him, and making sure and looking after. But no one checked afterwards, I think. So I got rushed, shoddy kind of service on that, and so I said, just make sure it doesn't happen. And so somebody in chat 2 weeks ago talked about how their Tesla was kind of edging close to the center line, which mine used to do, but that was FSD software for sure. So I keep thinking, my FSD experience is so poor around here. It's not complete trash, but it's kind of trashy. And I assume it's because I'm in a edge case area.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I pulled up service menu and looked at the alerts. I've got tons of VC front. So the vehicle control unit is flagging errors left and right, and talks about the brake booster and detecting, something I forgot what all, but it went back for months. And so while I'm talking to the assistant manager, he was reading it. While I was talking to him on the phone, he said, "Yeah, I'm pulling it all up. I'm looking right at it." And he said, "Yeah, let's get you in." He said, "Safe to drive. Let's get you in, and we'll look at it and see what it's all about. If we have to replace a module, it's going to be, it's going to take a while, and we may have to keep it overnight, which is fine. We'll give you a loaner, perfect." And so he said, "I said, am I going to get good service? Because I don't trust you. I don't trust you right now."
Right.
And we talked some more. We probably spent 45 minutes to an hour on the phone. And he said, "If you want to take it to Jacksonville, we'd understand." Well, that's 70 something. It's closer to 80 miles, 70 something, about 80 miles the other way. And it's, I'm not sure which is worse, going down 201 in Savannah to get on to Abilene, or taking 295, or, around the center of Jacksonville to get to the service. I know where it is in Jacksonville, but the traffic is terrible, no matter which service center you go to. So I talked about it, and I said, "Well, you've calmed me down about it, and I'm a give you another chance kind of guy, and I'm going to give you another chance with it. And so this is your time to shine and make up for what just went on." And so he said, "Okay, well, we can get you in, whenever you want, let us know." And I said, "I am not going to push you to fit me in while you have staffing issues, for my sake, but for you, it's going to stress your stress system even more to get me in." And so I said, "You tell me, when do you want me to come in?" And so I'm going in on February 3rd or 4th to go in, and they're going to look at, he did everything. I didn't have to go in the app. All of a sudden I was getting the notifications like, "You've got a service appointment coming up," and all that. So it was nice, but it's one of those things where upper corporate Tesla needs to know, if you've got a service center struggling, don't throw more work at them. You got to resolve. You've got to work and get people from other service centers to pitch in and help, because it was extraordinary what was going on. The people out, and they had just hired somebody, and they were interviewing somebody else that day, and so they were actively working to solve the problem everywhere they could, which is great. You love to hear that. And but corporate have pushing harder and not giving allowing them the chance to get their resources built back up, and they had some parts shortages, I think, there.
So last time I was in physically there, they had just done another one of their Elon haircuts, and so they had 30% of the people they needed to do all of that work, and it was like, oh. But
and you cannot short a customer on service. It won't end. It'll. If I walk in again, it's the FO part, because that's how it's going to go down. And so you don't do that to anybody. And my thing was, don't do anybody else. You've already done, a minor thing with me, but that was a first impression. That doesn't set the future up if that's the best you can do on my first time in with my premium car. I really want it taken care of. Even if it wasn't premium, it's mine. I want it taken care of. Yeah. And he said, "We want you to have a car come back to you in better condition than you brought it in." And it's like, I agree with that. So I feel good. I feel comfortable with the possibility. And it just, you got to show me that you're going to take care of me and everybody else, and get the improvements and whatnot. But it was, it's like, I knew not to take, because my appointment was December 26th. And I thought, it's the day after Christmas. That was the one that came up in the app.
Yeah.
And I went, that's probably not a good idea. It's not a good idea.
Yeah. I wouldn't want that one unless it was a drop off for like a week.
Yeah. But then I thought it's tire rotation. What could go wrong, right? And
you'd be surprised.
And they did clean the. I did add on when I was there the first visit. I said, since you're going to have the housing off the cameras on the interior, the day I took delivery of it in June, you could see where all the stickers were on the windshield on the inside. And I thought, I'll let it out gas, and then I'll find out somebody around town that can professionally detail it and clean the inside. So I didn't, but it would annoy me going into the sun to see all that haze and whatnot. And so I said, since they're in there, can somebody can your PDI person just jot over and do that? And he said, the guy that cleans the windshield, that's doing the cleaning thing, he can do that. And he did a good job. So it's just an unusual, not a good way to start my Tesla service life.
Yeah. The last time I was in there, I did get to meet the lead technician, and so this had been before he had his kid, and it was the same situation where like I did my little once around. Okay, like we brought it in for this, and this. How do these things look? Let's go in the service menu, see if anything's standing out. And there were items in the service menu that said they were not done, but they said we're done. And I don't have service mode plus. I only have the regular service mode, and then a couple of the physical items weren't done, and it was right there at closing time, and like they had the lead technician. I'm like, I don't want you to have to miss your family for this, but I'm not going to go back 3 hours on the road and have to come back again if you don't mind clicking on them, and especially the one that I don't have the software to deal with, and then the other one was something inside the Falcon door. I'm like, I'm not messing with these doors; they're heavy. And he had it done in like 16 minutes. I'm like,
oh wow,
yeah. So like imagine if the person who was supposed to be doing it had done it instead of him. But they didn't bat an eye. They didn't say, oh, we'll get to it later. They're just like, oh, that's not optimal. We'll get it straight. Yeah. Highlander is asking if they inspected your brakes when you went in.
No idea. I looked at I don't remember seeing that in the service sheet afterwards. I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look it up again, get in the app or something and look it up. But I had just under 7,500 miles on it at the time. And so, and I don't use the brakes quite that often, because I've had three Teslas and a Bolt, and then 2 hybrids with Gen. So
you haven't had brakes on in decades.
No. When I traded in my Honda CRZ, the little 2-seater,
that one,
sport hybrid from Honda. I love that car. I had 12 years. I bought it the day they went on sale in the United States, the very day, and loved it. Traded on the Bolt, and I'd never. Nothing. The brakes were still not brand new looking, but it was in great condition. Everything about it, because it's a hybrid. I treated it. I hypermiled the snot out of it. So.
Yes, it's a fun one to do that with.
I ended up at 45.1 or 45.2 miles per gallon over 12 years, and the highest I got was 63 miles per gallon. The lowest was 36 miles per gallon out of sport mode, and.
But that was higher than the sticker, so you did good there.
That's exactly right, and I averaged 40 miles per gallon at Tail of the Dragon 5 times.
Nice.
At Tail of the Dragon, yeah.
I love Tail of the Dragon. Oof.
Yeah, that's great.
One of my favorites. Yeah. The only time I would be any concerned about the brakes on these guys, other than like maybe my 300,000 mile checkup, is maybe the 200,000 mile checkup. But if you do like a whole day at the circuit track, like at Kyle's track, for instance, but not the way I use it. But like if you were like competing, then I'd be like, how's it look? I wouldn't be concerned or scared. It would just be curiosity.
Yeah, that's the thing where if I were to take it out and I used to autocross when I lived in Florida, and I had I had 2 Nissan 300ZXs, and one of them, there were no brakes left. There were just slots where the where it used to be on the road.
Wow.
after it's like, well, I need new brakes. I need a whole new brake system. So I knew about that, but it'd be interesting to kind of take the time, inspect them before and then after, just out of curiosity, to pull the wheels and take a peek at it all.
Indeed.
But my days of autocrossing I tell people I'm a great driver because I know I'm not a great driver anymore. I don't have the reflexes anymore. And I try not to monkey around with it and do stuff I shouldn't do. I still do, but I don't do it like I did in my youth. I'm more conservative with my driving habits.
Understand that. Mostly. This is fun cars to drive. Hey Lee, happy Sunday. Good to see you. Yes. She's got a fun little Model 3 as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have been I'm looking. I'm in on the Tesla side every day looking at inventory, especially. And I'm thinking, because I did put in my current Juniper 2026 Model Y, and I got a trade-in value on it. And so it's like, oh, I could pay almost nothing for a Highland 3, and I am currently eyeing a performance Model 3, but I don't need 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. Do I want it? Yeah. And when I go in February, I'm taking my title with me, just because you never know. You never know.
You never know.
And to Highlander's comment, I actually do use the brakes. I make sure I engage the brakes regularly just to make sure I'm aware to keep them. So I'll do a not a hard stop, but more of a not really an aggressive stop, but just a more forceful stop from time to time. Make sure the brakes are engaging, that it's not just regen taking over.
They have,
and I think the Model Y, the car I've got, is got brake by wire.
Yeah, you got you've got a brake blending that they never really had before.
That's right. Yeah,
and it's much better about it.
And you can't tell. It is perfect braking. I can't tell any kind of transition. Nothing like that. Not like the hybrids, of course. But the Bolt, you could tell with the Bolt what it was up to. And but this is the Juniper, just a fantastic car.
It is, and that's why Tesla never did brake blending before your car. They couldn't get it to feel right, so they're like, let's not until it's right. I do appreciate that philosophy.
Other than it stopping on its own, it feels like real brakes the whole time. There's nothing dramatic. There's nothing squirrely. You would never know. I could put a relative in the car, get them used to the one pedal, and then let them. They wouldn't know. I know they wouldn't know that it was blending together.
Nice.
Yeah, they did a good job.
If it detects rain, they have what they call brake wiping. It'll do that, and then other times it'll go through. If it's cold, it'll not really burnishing for the cold, but it's got some routines that they've been putting in there, and everything since AP1, just to make sure that those brakes, since we're not using them that frequently, they want to make sure that they are safe,
functional when you need them,
exactly, and that they last. But if you're a light breaker and you don't drive enough that the routine can do its magic, they have a brake burnishing mode right there in the software, so they don't even have to do an Italian tune-up. They just hit the button and then tell it what they want to do.
Do its thing,
That's
good to know. I all those things I keep worrying about, because I like, normally I like to keep a car for a long time. You can't tell it with the last me buying Teslas one after another, but but I really do that. When I have bought almost every, I think, one car since 1982 that I bought that wasn't a new car, I've kept for for a long time because I've been fortunate to buy a car I really, really wanted and I really enjoyed and drove the stink out of it because I just liked them.
Yeah.
So I've had a few cars like that I've really enjoyed. And the Teslas, other than, I just settled on, oh yeah, this is the next big shiny thing.
Yeah.
But I want to stay in Tesla.
Yeah.
And it's just the best car. Put a period on that sentence. Just best car.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open to other stuff, and I definitely
am too. I mean, even the new Bolt that's come out, because I there's a soft spot in my heart for the Bolt I had. It was a great around town, medium distance day tripper. It was good for that slow charging. And the torque steer on that thing, when you goosed it, that torque steer would snatch the wheel out of your hand on that car. It was unbelievably torque steery. And but yeah, and so I've looked at that thinking that might be that might be the second car in the garage type of thing.
Right.
And
that's kind of where I'm leaning with these others, because like I'm so spoiled by this almost 10-year-old Tesla I've got. And like I'm looking at like they've got us a rental car picked out for this repair we've got going on with the with that UFO that we struck.
I'm like, are you getting the ultrasonics replaced on that?
I'm not sure yet. I still haven't even finished turning in the proofs. I need to do that, but
gotcha.
I keep getting distracted. But I'm like, because my wife's on a kick with her some of the stuff she wants me to go do, and it's like, I really don't want to do any of this. Not just in a gas car, but in any other car.
Any other car.
Yeah, but some of them they just still Tesla doesn't make them. So like the Bright Drop, I really enjoyed the experience in that. It doesn't work every day for us because it's only got 2 chairs, but they're just.
I looked at those at the GM, Chevy's website. And I looked like, that's me being retired. And
yes. You're like, throw a microwave and a mattress in the back, and we can go coast to coast.
But for me, I have a backpack. Yeah, and that's it. And Mom passed away, but it used to be Mom and myself in the car, and we'd go out and eat every day. It's like, why do I need a cool electric van? Because it's a cool electric van. That's what
I want one. Yeah. Tyler says the Model S Plaid he drove did 0-60 in 1.9, and checkered out at 135 miles an hour. The video is funny because he's talking about my guilt the whole time. Oh, the kilt. Yes. And the Nissan Aria, which my sister has the blending on the brakes, it's perfect. People love that little Nissan. It's so much like a regular car. I'm wondering what happened with that. Like, were they just so similar, the Aria and the Leaf, that they said we can't have 2 cars this close together in this market?
I was mystified on that because the Aria is a more premium package, but that new Leaf, it looks like it's amazing. It looks great inside and outside, and of course, it's got big boy range now, and and thermal management, and all the things that weren't in the first. In the first,
I'm surprised Doug.
I like it better than I think for what you get, I think the new Leaf is probably a better value proposition than the new Bolt. Though I really like the new Bolt a lot.
Yeah. And that's why I was surprised when Doug DeMuro pointed out that that not only is it the same price as it always has been, but that's before you adjust for inflation. So it's actually more car for less money 10 years later, 12 years later. Yeah. It's like, wow, that is incredible.
Yeah, because I even looked at the new I online looked at the new Prelude, and it's like, but
I see them sometimes. They're fun.
Yeah, they look good because that was my first brand new car, was a Prelude, 1982 Prelude. And so, but then when I look back at my 300 ZXs were 0-60 in just 8 seconds, let's say. And then my CRZ was like 8.5 seconds. And my Civic was 8. So everything was staying in that 8. Even now, I think the Prelude in normal mode is probably about an 8-second car. It's like, I'm not getting out of this 8-second range. And, I want more.
Not 2 and 3.
Not necessarily the 1.9 plaid,
Yeah.
but or 1.5 plaid, but I just want to be able to get out of my way, somebody else's way, and the Teslas certainly give that to you. And I would like to have some fun on one of these back roads from time to time, and because I tell people, every new car I get, I make sure it does what it says on the box.
Right. So what you paid for, right? Yeah, but it saved our lives with that truck crash, because he wasn't going to stop hitting us until he saw us. And when he saw us, he's like, "Oh, there's a car there." Yeah, your truck doesn't normally do this. Why are you going to let it keep doing it?
Yeah. I'm glad everybody's all right.
Yeah, we're okay-ish. We're never going to be the same, but it's better than the alternative.
Yeah. I've been rear-ended twice. At high school, minor, and second time in St. Mary's, Georgia, leaving the library. I'd been installing new software on computers, and Navy personnel didn't stop behind me, but it was still minor. But it impacted me. I actually passed out briefly from the impact and came back and realized what are all these lights on the dash of my car, and what was that sound I just heard?
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah. And my Tesla about 3 or 4 times has moved out of the way of a car, not going to rear end me per se, but somebody that's impatient and will go off-roading and go and make a turn and come very close. And I've felt the car, I've seen it twice, and I didn't even know what was happening, but I felt the car move to the forward to the left. And there comes this car flying like 5 inches from the back side of my car, going down the shoulder of the road to beat traffic at a light or something like that. It's like, whatever. And then I pushed the record button on the camera sentry mode. Dash cam. I'm glad they just hit that just in case,
Exactly, just in case it goes up later. But I'm also glad that they put the indicators on there now about whether or not autopilot actually did the thing that, because you and I have seen it happen, but sometimes it's like, did it do that, and so it's nice to be able to know unambiguously that the car did that, or
the car actually
you just got really lucky and did the right thing.
Yeah. And I had I'm real particular. I end up stopping. I take over from FSD, coming to a stop in our area to give extra stopping distance between a gap, because I've been rear-ended twice. But my best friend from Florida, going to work in Tampa, 2021, he was rear-ended, and it caught his car on fire with him in it, and he lived for about he lived from 9 o'clock in the morning until about 2 in the morning the next morning. Burned, and didn't survive it. And so that's a heartbreaking. That was my best friend ever, and so that's that. When I have reported, I'm stopping to give more distance, and on that disengagement voice note, I'll say my best friend was killed being rear-ended
in the same situation.
and this is why I do this. So,
but you gotta leave a buffer, because you never know.
I used it in Florida. I always used it as an escape route to move over, and that saved my bacon many times in Florida. And I've watched people go around and get T-boned because they're cutting around traffic that they've left a gap that's too big, and I won't let a car come through, crossing across multi-lanes of traffic.
Visibility.
Because you can't see. I've seen the cars go airborne from it on my commute to and from work before. So I'm conscious. I try and balance that distance to not give people leeway, but to give myself an escape route.
Exactly.
And I don't want to hit the car in front of me. If you hit me, so be it. But I'm not going to chain reaction.
And the chain reaction, they'll get you too. They'll say, "Oh, you were following too closely."
That's right. Or didn't stop in time. Or
conditions. I had one. It wasn't a multi-lane, but they left the gap, and there was no visibility. And this was coming back from the first Falcon Heavy launch, the one where they put the Roadster in space. And I've got it on my channel. Where they left too much of a gap, and there was no visibility, and the person tried to come across, and the other person was at full speed, and I don't think they got air, but they went into the side of a telephone pole, and it was a mess. And
wow. Yeah, I was working at the Space Center. I worked in the Launch Control Center in the 80s, and I walk into the parking lot one afternoon, heavy traffic, and there was a guy on a motorcycle, four-way stop from the. I couldn't park inside the gate. That was for the NASA bigwigs. But as I walked across that intersection, I heard a big bang, and the guy on the motorcycle went flying past me in the air without a motorcycle, ended up in the ground, and we all rushed to give him. He got hit somehow from a car that somebody didn't stop. I don't know who it was because my back was to it, but this person came over my shoulder into the dirt right in front of me. So yeah, I thank goodness. All that's thank goodness for full self-driving and all the safety systems that all cars have, but FSD is like king of the crop. I mean, I firmly believe it.
Yeah, last night we were on an unfamiliar path, and there was a guy walking on the sidewalk. We had right of way, and he was not in the way. FSD saw him. It waited. He tried to wave it on. It didn't, and he crossed and said, thank you. I'm like, well, all right, but the car did it.
Yeah. The car. You know, there's some intelligence in the. I'm on 14.2.2.2. And it does surprisingly well with people. We have a lot of. They're widening US 17 in front of our subdivision, and so we've got kind of screwy. They've torn up our entrance terribly, but there, and sometimes they'll be flagging out that they're directing one-way traffic, one-lane traffic, and it does a pretty good job, and it does a great job with emergency vehicles. It really is doing that, and I think I'm not usually first in line when they have the slow down and the stop for one-way traffic, but I think it's doing fine with all that. I think. But I haven't had anything but rude gestures, so I don't know what for gesture control. I don't know about that.
The 12 dot whatever I'm on surprised me the other day. We had a school bus put the stop sign out. It was going really aggressive, and then the I don't think the school bus even did the yellow lights. It just went red. They waited a beat and then put the stop sign and the crossing bar out, and it gave an impressive amount of room to the kids. I was like, oh, I wouldn't have given it that much room. I would have been a lot closer. And coming from AP1 and then through all of up to the versions of 12, I was hovering over the brake. I was so afraid that it was just gonna all right, I'm done with this, and then go on. But it handled it perfectly, and it was amazing.
And I had that a school bus was not stopping; it was coming, but it started flashing its red lights, and the car moved over slightly toward the right. It's a 2-lane. It's a US 17. It's still 2-lane at that point. So it edged over a bit and slowed down because I didn't even know, is it going to stop here or which subdivision is it going to stop in? And it was going further back behind me, but the car was slowing down like, oh, I would have done it pretty much like this. And then it just took off again as it passed. So it was aware. I'm really impressed with the things what I would call really critical things it does. Some of the other stuff that, I still don't, it still does stuff that makes me scared. But at least the high criticality, I think they're knocking that one out. I think they're getting the stuff that would kill you, trying to mitigate that. So,
I'm glad, like on yours, they've got, I don't know how they do it, but it's able to listen for the sirens. Mine does the right thing when it can see a siren, but it has no way to hear because it doesn't have a speaker or microphone or anything. Well, because it does have Bluetooth microphones, but
I was making a right-hand turn a few weeks ago, I believe, and I heard it. I heard the siren. I didn't know where it was. I didn't know which direction it was coming from. It turns out it was coming from the area of federal law enforcement training center.
Yeah.
But I didn't know which
Right.
way.
That's why I call the European sirens. They're directional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was already starting to slow down, and so I could tell it's going to pull into the emergency lane. It was already headed in that lane, and then I saw it, and it was coming. It was going to come across me, and then turn down my left side. But there was a light there. The light was red for me anyway. But it didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't even know it was coming from that direction. But it understood it. It was remarkable, because I thought, how is it getting that directional? It had to have seen it. The front camera suite had to have seen it more than could detect.
Yeah,
I think. I don't know.
And when you go into service mode, I'll not say service mode anymore, but the menu where you can look through the cameras, you can be impressed by the views that thing has. While we're on this, while we're on this, we're talking about a level 2 system here. I want to talk for a moment about a level 3 system. So this is all rumor and speculation to a point, but it's also from some good sources, so I'm not willing to just count it out. But let's take a look at Alex is saying that he heard from somebody else that Mercedes has terminated their SAE level 3 in the new S-Class. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Mercedes's level 3 system, it's very much like the one that Honda's got in Japan, where you need to be on a mapped road, it needs to be daylight, you need to be following another car, you need to be bumper to bumper, you need to be less than 45 miles per hour. And it is level 3 by the definition, and they're fully on the hook for insurance and everything during this period. But you're paying more than FSD. Was it $12,000 for this Mercedes kit, and you can only use it in these limited scenarios, and it's not selling well. Now Mercedes might go ahead and say it's not canceled, but it might also not be back for next year, just like how the Aria is not canceled, but it's also not coming back to the U.S. This model year. So Alex says, in the revamped S-Class sedan, which Mercedes will unveil at the end of January, level 3 driving, which allows the driver to watch movies while behind the wheel, will no longer be available. The company confirmed this to the media. The reason is too little demand, too little suitability for everyday use, and too high of cost. Now, Honda has a system that does all of this. I don't know if it's the same system or if it just happens to match up perfectly. Theirs was on 100 cars in Japan only. So, yet this technology was the pride and joy of the developers. In 2021, Mercedes became the first manufacturer to receive special approval for level 3 on German highways. But apparently, however, production costs and demand are not in the right proportion. In the current S-Class, customers can drive autonomously at up to 95 kilometers per hour on the highway under certain conditions, but this will now be discontinued. Instead, Mercedes company wants to focus more on automated driving assistance that require the driver to remain alert at all times, so aka FSD supervised, including the ADAS system that Mercedes wants to develop using the NVIDIA development environment in the US for one model. Mercedes has thus finally ended its own plans for autonomous driving, and that's the part that people are picking nits about. Is there's like saying, well, if they're doing the NVIDIA thing, are they not still pursuing it? But this is enough of a gear change and a paradigm shift that you can say that it's not the same thing. Anyone who believes that NVIDIA is the solution for Mercedes for autonomous vehicles has failed to understand that NVIDIA does not offer an autonomous system, but rather a development environment that, given the necessary training data, experts, and data centers, could achieve in about a decade what Tesla FSD offers today. However, since Mercedes does not have billions of miles of driving data needed, and it probably never have it, it cannot develop an autonomous system. And then Chris is asking for a source, and then Alex is telling you where to find his source. If you feel like using a translator.
I remember seeing the NVIDIA announcements about their system, their autonomous. It was basically the ability for you to build a system, hardware and whatnot, to go with their training. Basically, they're on the training end of it with the NVIDIA announcement that was fairly recent. Is that right?
Yeah. NVIDIA has been,
It wasn't. They weren't building the equipment for the car. They could have NVIDIA processing in the car, but it wasn't it wasn't end-to-end autonomy.
Yeah.
It really was for the training end of it. And you can't fake real miles with real people behind real wheels, right?
Exactly. Plus, the more you see, the more you can put into your simulation, and then the more you can simulate, you can just do stuff that takes many miles before it shows up.
And there's a social aspect to that, because people need to. You can't. I don't know that you can just throw it out there and say, here it is, the whole world, if there's been no exposure to it. And so you've got to learn how people react to technology, the interaction. And we see that with FSD all the time, for good or bad, about things that they change, but they're trying it anyway.
Yeah, because they learn that certain things that they do upset the public. And other things they do upset the regulators, and then other things they do upset the drivers.
And I'm again, where I can go with I can feel what they're going through with Mercedes, because if they're limited to 45 miles an hour, say, to use it, Mercedes customer, I would think, I want to get on the highway. It's partially usable. It is not a full featured system. It's very cool in what it could do, but it's still not. It's still not there, and so. Companies like Tesla have to understand that it's got to work more of the time with fewer annoyances. And I'm in the big annoyance camp still, so I get frustrated. So when they can move their autonomy, if Mercedes is going to continue with it, and they probably are, but maybe not talk about it.
I think that's why they shifted it. Yeah, because I wouldn't say they quit, because otherwise they wouldn't partner with NVIDIA if they were done. But I think it's wise for them to step back and regroup a little bit, because
that's right.
What we've seen with FSD and the billions of miles this thing has driven, it's like you said, you don't have a lot of opportunities for a Mercedes owner to go that slow. And you can use it in traffic jam, but depending on what region you're in, how much of a movie are you going to finish in that traffic jam? Or you're going to be more annoyed that you started to stop the movie 8 times, and all of a sudden you're actually finally through the traffic and you can get home. So I think this is
adaptive cruise control at that point it's just as good as adaptive cruise control. Why bother?
That's basically all it is adaptive cruise control with eyes off. So this one guy here, he said, what this proves is total customer apathy for self-driving systems. Outside of the Tesla cult, all of whom are now paid for FSD, there's no demand. Tesla should be extremely nervous about the real demand for such systems. And I see a little bit of where he's coming from and what he's... Oh, you did? Oh, she did. Okay, enjoy that mermaid tail. I see a little bit of the thread that this guy's pulling at, but I went ahead and I said, I think you jumped a bit. I said, but a bit far to get that conclusion. The system was technically autonomous, but the scenarios where you could turn it on are incredibly small. See what systems with a broader chance of turning them on look like, and then let's compare whether people actually want it or not.
There's the promise of what autonomous driving is and the reality, and when they don't match up, because even FSD, if I were to give, I've been hoping to give one of my relatives a chance behind the wheel and use FSD. He really wants a self-driving car, and so I'd love for him to try it, but it would if it's not superb, it's a fail. That's how people look at it. The general public does. We are pioneering people that try it, and we like it. And we like it even, and I like it even when it's being terrible from here to there. But the general public will have a different bar to reach, and so companies need to understand that and get out. And so people will pull that thread like you just demonstrated and say, well, they're not there. They're not going to get there. No, it's way better than you think. It is a hyper advanced safety system today. And oh, by the way, many times you can go, the FSD today can take me down to Kennedy Space Center, but for the 40-mile-an-hour minimum speed limit signs where it jams on the brakes go from 70 to 40. And now I've got chain reaction chaos happening behind me.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the big thing for me. I think most of the other ones are aggravating. But again, that's what general public goes, this doesn't work right.
Right. Especially if they're doing
way better
90 and then 50 and then 90 and then 50. It's like, have you guys driven in Georgia yet?
Yeah.
These are not uncommon signs like this.
No.
I wish they wouldn't do it that way. But
and going through, when I go down to Ocala and Tampa, and I go through the, I forgot the name of the highway. I don't take the interstates the whole way. I go through Callahan and Yulee, Callahan, but Stark and Baldwin and Lottie.
We gotta watch out.
Those are the two speed trap towns.
Yes.
And
exactly.
and it doesn't do a great job either. It's erring more on caution. It will not see the speed increase. So I'm doing 15 miles an hour under the speed limit. And it's like, no, you can actually go the speed limit because it does go back up to 70, 65, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it just lollygags on there. And I've intervened for 6 or 7 in a row speed limit changes, and it would do none of them. So they got some work to do for customer convenience, driver convenience. But if it saves your bacon one time, it's worth it.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm wondering if either the company or an engineer got a ticket in there, and so they just hard coded that one. Don't speed here.
Yeah, there's something wrong with it. So, and I'm afraid to use Mad Max because it could. Oh yeah, because it could be doing fine, and then all of a sudden the thing gets the zoomies. It's like, no, don't do that.
I've had
I rarely use Mad Max except in dense traffic. That's when I'll use it because now it's got guardrails, the other cars around it. But I like the maneuverability, the decision making it makes with that at any speed that it wants to go. But but I wish NVIDIA, Mercedes, to get back to the topic, just don't give up on it. Whether that's eventually get into a license with an agreeable license with Tesla for FSD that benefits both parties, not make it one-sided or but go in that direction. There's custard there. The public wants it.
They do. And we can see that paradigm difference in them because you tell them you can do all this stuff, and they're like, okay, well, I can't take my hands off the wheel for more than 10 seconds. And so Tesla finally said, okay, fine, you're really on this no hands thing. You don't have to have your hands on the wheel, but you have to be looking out that window. And so I like the responsiveness, but that kind of tells you, like, you and I, we were fine hands on the wheel, and we're using it, and it's like an assistant, and then plus the safety backup, and the news is like, hey, I can only get 3 seconds off the wheel.
I haven't taken a lot of long trips yet. But I've gone a few hundred miles each way on a day trip, and my hands are numb because they've been sitting on my thighs for hours on end, not touching anything. And when I do, if I am fooling with the screen for a little bit, it comes back. The glance up is that long, and it reacquires in under a second. It feels like it's super quick to reacquire and go, everything's fine.
Nice.
Never had a strike.
Good. You don't want any strikes if you can help it. Highlander has a good point about the renting out the software. He says Rivian's a perfect example of renting out their software. Yeah, they got $5-6 billion with options for more for helping VW get together. Yeah. So I have a feeling that that we will see that of FSD once, whichever.
If it's not Tesla, it may be somebody like Rivian or somebody that's progressed far enough to give another manufacturer heads up, a leg up on getting something out the door.
Yeah, and then it will probably end up being like Bose or something, where it's just like, available to everybody, and you can get brand A and brand B, and we went with brand A.
Yeah, autonomy is a commodity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that time, but we're not quite there, but we're getting there. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens this year, like to the point where they decide this is now, and then we start to see them work to implement it within the next 3 in some other brand. I'm wondering though, are we going to get those turquoise lights like Mercedes and the other company are pushing for? And are we going to see
a signal that the car is driving autonomously?
Yeah, they turn on a turquoise light.
Visual indicator. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the other question with it is, how is this going to work? Is the car going to get a driver's license, or are they just going to like have like a certification that says all of these cars are good to go, and then like are they going to have to adjust the laws, or do you get an exemption, a waiver for being in a Tesla or a Rivian, or it's going to be some growing pains as I'm predicting, unless they all decide, hey, this is the standard, and then here's the mark for passing a standard.
Are there provisions in those new laws, the ones affecting autonomous vehicles that are in Congress here in the states to make it federally universal across all states? I haven't kept up with that very much, so I don't. I'm aware of it, but I haven't dove into it.
I need to look too. I think that would be the cleanest ways if it comes from NTSB, NHTSA, or FMVSS. I think any other, I get that the patchwork way is legal and it's how our country runs, but I don't.
We also all drive on the same side of the road that we're supposed to. We don't go from Florida to Georgia and decide, we got to drive on the left side of the road with the traffic coming the other way. So we need some standards here.
Right. Well, we've gone through the tunnel and now we need to switch sides of the road.
Yeah.
Illegal bus routes is getting slashed. We're desperate to have Tesla come in with the robotaxi. Every committee person in Congress, we have a lady longest serving in our history. I think I get the gist of that, but voice to text chewed that one up. Yeah. This is going to be an interesting, some people say 10 years, but I'm going to say it's a lot closer to 5 from where your car is today to it just being done. And as you pointed out, they're still not done. They've got stuff that they've got to work on, like separate minimum speed limit from the maximum. Why are they not on the same sign like everybody else?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But it also it's nice because as I said, when I go through like Lottie and Stark, and I'm passing every 45-mile-an-hour speed limit sign, and the car thinks it's 55, or the opposite is. It does both. It messes up both. You read all, but on the interstate getting here, it read the way station for the trucks to slow down to 45 miles an hour for the ramp. It read that and applied the brakes at 70 miles an hour. And you can't do it. So they've got some cleanup. So it's reading it.
It is.
It just doesn't have the intelligence baked in yet to react appropriately to it. So it's coming. But you see the capabilities there. That's the saving grace of it. It doesn't. You can see. What's coming.
The other day I was in like a 30 and it wanted to do 50. I was like, we're gonna knock this out.
I report that I go to Honey Baked Ham a couple of times a week, and it now pulls out, and it does, and it takes me, I tell it where I want to park because I want to park away from other cars. And so, but then I summon it to the door. It's a party trick because I go when it's not busy usually. And so the staff watches, and they hear people saying, we want to buy a Tesla because of that. He's summoning the car. And so they tell me about it on my next visit. So but when I leave and get on the connecting road to head back home, it's 35, has always been 35. It goes to 55. And it will not, and then all of a sudden it'll go down to 30. No, but it's still 35, and then and it stays at 30 the rest of the way, other half of the road down to where I make my turn. And I report it every time, and that's a navigation problem. And to be fair to FSD, there is a tree, a palm tree, I think, that obscures part of that sign, and it can't. You have to be pretty on top of it before you can read 35.
Yeah.
So,
but that sounds like something that they would be good at solving right there. That one. Or at least remembering it for the next time.
Yeah, a lot of my complaints really do have to come with navigation choices, let's say, because I tell them, you're running my mileage warranty out faster.
Right.
I was in New York, and the cabbie, my first time in New York, and the cabbie, oh, you here? Have you been here before? And I lied, but yeah. And he took me all the way around Central Park to get to Madison Square Garden, which is where my training classes were. And it's like, because the sun's over here now, it's over here. It's like, there's no way to throw it from the airport. But so it feels like, oh yeah, you're preparing this for sure for robotaxi, because you're going to drive everybody 20 miles out of the way just to get the fare. So
I hope they don't do it that way.
No,
I also don't know why
they'll iron it out. They're getting it better, and there are things that they have been improving that I've noticed that it's doing. And oh yeah, you did the route, but I decided to change the route at the last second because I decided I wanted to go. Usually look at a Iona or Walmart to see what they're up to or not up to.
I think it would be prudent of them to start asking legacy owners why they turn the stuff off again, because it's like it doesn't care. Not ever once.
You don't get the alert that comes up that says what happened.
Nothing.
Oh wow.
I'm like, so they got to guess. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you can figure it out from guessing, but if you ask me, I can tell you. Then you don't guess.
Well, but that's yesterday. I took over and I said, I changed my mind, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong, but I'm taking over because I want to go further into my subdivision and look around. I'm looking at real estate, and so I just want to look around and just see what's what, and then put the thing back in self-drive and let it drive me back up to my driveway. While the garage door is going up, I usually goose the accelerator just to keep it rolling forward. So it goes past the garage, and I let go, and it continues, comes to a stop, goes into reverse and pulls into the garage up to the charger, because I've got charger selected at home, and it pulls in and parks in the garage, backed up. So, but it'll try and turn nose in half the time if I don't encourage it to go just past one of my garage door. Just go past it a little bit, and then it goes, oh, okay, I'm going to back in. So,
okay, I like that. Yeah, but like you said, sometimes it's just a preference or a choice that there's nothing wrong with the car. It's just me. And then other times, like, hey, I saw this thing and I stopped, or I didn't think that it felt like it was going to go into the street with that oncoming truck at 60 miles an hour. Whether it did or not, I don't know. The inertia was too high, so I stopped it.
That's right. Yeah, it's a comfort level for me too. But you would think they want to know. They want to know no matter what, because what the cameras see may not be what you are reacting to. There may be multiple causality, and you want to let them know what you saw and what you're feeling, so they could narrow that down, because maybe it's responding properly to this thing over here but not to that thing that you're looking at, and again, why are they chasing their tails for something that there was nothing wrong? I took over just because.
Like they can totally just have a totally different cycle, that they could spend something that is important. Like the other day, a rabbit was crossing the street in the dark, and it didn't stop. It kind of felt like it stabbed the brakes. It kept going, and that was actually the right move. But there was another time where there was a creature, and I didn't feel it saw it, so I hit the brakes, and then it was the same situation. Mine wasn't a stab; it was a push, let it coast down, and then go. But it was the same scenario, but it didn't feel like it saw whatever it was. And another time, it saw a mother goose and the goslings, and it's like, let them cross.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I've had that. My brother, they have Canadian geese out at the subdivision they live in, has a lake in the middle, and cross over, and the car will be polite, as it should, and let that happen.
Especially against those ones. Can you imagine? Oh, you taking me to jail for the car? I love driving in New York and Manhattan specifically because I drove like I was in Detroit convertible. My 5-year-old daughter just ignored everything. No turn signals, no horn. It's a riot.
And that's the only time I was there for 10 days. And I told Honeywell, don't book me a rental car.
Yeah.
Put me in the hotel. It's diagonally across the street from Madison Square Garden. And I never drove anywhere. I never took a cab. They dropped me off and I had to have the concierge. I could not flag a cab to save my life. So I'm standing out there and I asked the guy. So he came over and a cab pulled right up to the hotel and Madison Square. It was right. I was training with Digital Equipment Corporation at that time. And so I was underneath Madison Square Gardens where the training facility was. So, but yeah, I would never drive. That's not my cup of tea. That's full self-driving's cup of tea. That's how I look at it.
Definitely, yeah, it does a good job there. Yeah, I think we had a good discussion today. I mean, it's only 2 stories, but we had a good chat, and we talked about a bunch of stuff. And then I got really into the tech today. I don't know. I
talk a lot.
That's all right. All right. And sorry. So, no, it's fine. It's fine. So what I want to do is I want to thank everybody for coming through today. I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank our channel members for their monetary contributions that help keep this thing running. And I want to thank everybody for taking the time out of their day to spend time with us. And again, of course, you, Lee, for coming on and chatting with Kacey and Friends here. And so
my pleasure. My pleasure.
Definitely. We'll catch you guys over on Futuraza's channel, on the Tesla Life Show, and over at EV Smoke ATX for the adventures of EV Smoke. And catch you on the flip side. Thank you. Lee, I'm going to hit this button, and then not until after we come back will the side space end on X. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Seconds.